Hey y'all, what's up? What's good? How's everybody doing? And today, BlackGhostFace here is going to be doing another SCP video. Folks, the name of this video is called SCP-001, When Day Breaks. And of course, this is by SCP Explained Story and Animation. We're jumping in to the world of When Day Breaks.
You've been walking for days. Your body aches. You're dripping with sweat from the heat of the sun bearing down overhead, and yet you're wrapped up in layers upon layers of clothing. Even your face is covered, and you're wearing thick black goggles so that not a single centimeter of your body is exposed.
That's
your
hot.
journey has been long, and you feel like you might die from exhaustion or from overheating due to these multiple layers of clothes. But dying is better than being exposed. You saw it happen when your entire team changed. The light cannot be trusted, not even for a fraction of a second. It's been like this for years. You've learned and survived through painful experience. Many of those you used to know cannot say the same. You've been alone for so long. You might have given up all hope if it wasn't for the distress signal coming from a nearby SCP Foundation containment facility, Site-46. Any kind of survivors would be better than nothing, no matter what kind of sorry shape they were in, as long as they were still human. You find your way to an opening in the side of a mountain and slide into the cave, hoping you weren't spotted. The whole world is crawling with those things now. You can't let yourself be seen. As you trudge down the cave towards the entrance,
Oh my
you
God.
see what looks like a huge black snail trail splattered on the ground, leading into the facility. You try to avoid it and press on. You don't even need a key card to enter. The door has been left ajar. The facility reeks of those things, but you can't see any of them. You just hope they've moved on and left some human survivors in their wake. The place looks abandoned. Every step you take echoes through the empty halls. When you find that the elevator's out, you take the stairs all the way down to level B5, Keter Containment. Lucky for you, it seems all the cells are empty now. The horrors that were kept inside of them have all long since flown the coop.
Oh boy.
You keep following that slimy black trail until you find an abandoned office. There are no people here anymore.
Saw that
Just a
lizard.
broken barricade, some empty medicine bottles, and a bucket that the people inside the office had apparently been using as a toilet. You breathe a sigh of disappointment at finding no one alive here, but you're at least relieved to be out of the sun. You can finally remove your jacket and head wrap. With your uncovered eyes, you notice that a nearby computer terminal is still powered up. You sit down at the desk and turn on the monitor. Because of the emergency procedures put into place in a K-class scenario like this, safeguards no longer apply. You can access all the information you need, up to and including finding out what actually happened. In the dull glow of a nearby emergency light, you see a dark shape slumping through the halls in shadow. You tense up, then exhale as it slithers off into an adjoining hall. You're safe, for now. The terminal has finally loaded and authenticated your access. You're staring at the file for SD Lock's proposal for SCP-001 When Day Breaks. It's the only name you can give the apocalypse your world is currently experiencing. This is one of the only anomalies in the entire history of the SCP Foundation to be given the Apollyon Containment class, meaning containment is truly impossible. SCP-001 is the most dangerous enemy that the Foundation and planet Earth has ever faced. It's always been the principle of the SCP Foundation to battle in the dark so that the civilian world can thrive in the light. But now the light has become the enemy. Anyone exposed to any amount of sunlight for even the briefest period of time is subjected to the effects of SCP-001, and those effects are beyond horrifying. The SCP Foundation Administrator released an urgent memo telling Foundation personnel to make their way to Site-19 at all costs, because they need all the help they can get. Those exposed to SCP-001 in the process are no longer considered human. Their new designation is SCP-001-A, These new entities are to be avoided at all costs. But in case of emergencies, the administrator says it is permitted to cut off parts of your transformed comrades and eat them to avoid starvation.
What?
No attempt should be made to kill them, since you won't succeed. You'll just put yourself at risk.
No! That is probably the most terrifying SCP I've ever seen. You literally have to wear fully covered clothing. Your skin should not show any signs of being hit by the sun. You basically gotta wrap yourself up like a mummy. You basically gotta wrap yourself up like Emotep, to where I have to stay completely covered from the sun. Like I don't need to show any skin. Any type of skin, you're done for, and you turn into whatever the fuck that is. That is literally an abomination. You seeing like 10 to 20 bodies put together, and it's like a slime of pure terror. Oh my god, oh my god, can you imagine just can you imagine you look outside of your house and you see stuff like that happening? Just seeing people screaming because they're exposed to the sunlight, and you see they turn into horrific mutations. At first I'm thinking, is it like zombies or something? No, it couldn't be. No, you're transforming into something way worse than that. But as long as you're inside of a building, you can, take that body sweating clothing off of you. But as soon as you go back outside, folks, you know how it is right now, right? The C virus, you gotta wear a mask and all that. But it's like The Walking Dead. Think about it. It's like The Walking Dead. Even if you get vaccine, boom, still too late. But this, you need your whole body covered. No skin exposure at all. Now that is living proof right there, to where it's not airborne. It's just exposure to sunlight. That is pure terrifying if you saw that in person.
The sun changed and became SCP-001. It instantly affected 6.8 billion innocent people. The second the visible light touched them, whether it was from the sun itself or even reflected off the moon, their bodies liquefied, melting like candle wax into puddles of living gelatinous slime. This effect isn't isolated to humans either. Any biological entity exposed to sunlight immediately underwent the same irreversible melting process into SCP-001-A, and the horror had only just begun. People transformed into SCP-001-A will remain shades of their former intelligence and personality. They may even try to will their new gooey mass into a shape resembling their original form. However, these individuals will lose their sense of self if they come into contact with other instances of SCP-001-A. When they come together, 001-A instances will bond on a molecular level, wading up into horrific giant blobs with only one purpose: integrating more matter into their bodies. That's why they have to be avoided at all costs.
Okay. Let me say this right here. Y'all know that movie called Slither? Y'all remember that movie? Y'all remember that horror movie to where the parasite, it gets inside you, you're infected, and you keep eating and eating and eating till you become a giant blob. And you see how it was at the end of that movie, to where others was coming in to become part of that giant mass of blob abomination. That is exactly what I'm looking at right there. But the fact that you get exposed to light, even from the moon, wow. If it's not one, it's another. And you your body just liquefies like that to where, wow. And not only that is like, so if you're not part of the blob system, you see that you're still yourself in a way. And the fact that you try to make a hat just from looking at a picture, that's crazy. But it's even more crazy that you will lose forms of yourself if you become part of the blob system. And it's just like I said, you continue to consume more until you become just a straight up blobzilla. But like I said, it's like that movie Slither. If y'all have not heard of that movie, give that one a shot. If you love horror, give that one a shot. But that is exactly how this is right now. After seeing that moment. That's crazy.
Continue to search the computer terminal for answers. Perhaps there was some kind of contingency plan put in place for this. Some way to reverse the effects. Or at least escape the nightmare Earth has become. Instead, you find a series of attachments linked to the SCP-001 file, detailing what seems to be the last days of the people who barricaded themselves in the facility. Most prominent among these were researcher Dr. Logan Igata, her partner Ari, a security officer named Commander Anad, and a few others. Dr. Igata had locked herself in the office, where she recorded her final messages to the world. In the first audio log, Dr. Igata and her companions seemed afraid, but hopeful that there may be some way out of this situation. Dr. Igata reported that most of the workers at the facility were transformed during the initial event. Their melted bodies had fused outside the facility, and now they were trying to bust their way back in. The defenses had held so far though, and they seemed confident they would hold long enough for them to figure out a way to escape this awful situation. You open the second attachment, an incident report, and realize things may not have been as hopeful as Dr. Igata let on. She reported hearing the huge mass of melted creatures hammering on the door outside again, begging for them to come out and experience the sun with them. They wanted desperately to add to their ever-growing biomass. In order to experiment with what exactly would happen, they sent out one of their few remaining D-classes wearing a full protective suit. He didn't last long. A huge creature grabbed him with tentacles made of reconstituted flesh. It began ripping off his protective suit as he screamed for mercy. It was a monster made of dozens of people and animals. He could never overpower it. The second the sun touched his skin, he melted away and was absorbed by the great mass holding him in place. Guns were ineffective against these SCP-001-A super entities.
Really?
Fire would do no good.
What?
It seemed that extremely low temperatures were the only way to slow the immense blobs down.
I mean,
and
it's a
even
blob.
then, not permanently. There was one ray of light in the darkness. The site director had a secret tunnel underneath his office, connected to a tram that could hopefully take them directly to Site 19 without risk of SCP-001 exposure. It was a good plan, and by far the best option they had available to them.
Okay, so for those of y'all, so like Slither, like I said, Blob and everything, but there is other movies to where it's like the Blob. I forgot what movie it was called, but it was back then to where it was literally a blob, like, attacking the city and consuming everything in its wake, and it was getting, bigger, and bullets didn't do nothing, fire didn't do nothing. And that's the thing, too. Most of the time, when you're trying to take down something, it's either bullets, fire, or ice. Like, you're straight up subatomic temperature. Like, it has to be, like, sub-zero or even negative degrees to where it will freeze you on sight and we just shatter you completely. It did not last long. I said it so many times. Now, of course, I understand that we should not feel sorry for the D-class because they are cold-hearted criminals. But it's like, okay, there are some people, even though you are a stone-cold criminal, you gotta feel just a tad sorry for if you're sent into that situation. Now, I can understand that, you want to kill them, you want to probably beat them to death, you want them to get eaten by a wild animal and all that. But something like that though, I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, I just felt just a little sorry, just a little bit, because it's like, dang, I would have just just shot him in the head. But that was a slow death though. That was a slow, agonizing, terrifying way to die. The fact that you're being attacked by something to where you can't escape, and it's slowly consuming you too. Nah, nah, just kill me right there. Just kill me right there. Just put a bullet to my head, kill me right there, and be done. Because that is like that's the scariest, one of the scariest way to die, honestly, to me.
But the best plans often don't work in practice. You open the next attachment on the terminal. This time, it's a video feed. You can actually see Dr. Logan Igata, and she looks harrowed by what she's experienced. As it turns out, while the others, including her partner Ari, attempted to escape through the tunnel, something had happened. Dr. Igata heard Ari's voice over her radio, but there was something wrong with it. It was too low, too guttural, and filled with gurgles. SCP-001 had gotten her. She was changed. The monster from above had crawled in through the ceiling. It had taken them, all of them, and converted them into something less than human. Any hope of escape now seemed gone. Ari told Dr. Igata that it would be fine, that it was such a bright, beautiful, sunny day outside, and she was wasting it locked up inside that office. She tormented Dr. Igata with their shared memories of picnics in the park on sunny days in the past. The monster with Ari's voice did everything it could to try to convince Dr. Igata to give up and join them, but she wasn't ready to go just yet. You look away from the screen when you hear a sound in the corner. You see a dark puddle of some unknown substance, and then some skeletal hands rising out of it. The hands are pulling themselves out of the puddle, followed by a skeletal face covered in matted hair. You have to stop yourself from screaming, until a flash from a nearby security light makes the figure disappear. It's a normal puddle, once again. Your mind is playing tricks on you. You open the next attachment, another video, and see that Dr. Igata's condition has deteriorated. She looked pale, frantic, and thin. She was using a knife to draw her own blood onto a piece of blood-stained parchment covered in strange symbols. Igata ranted about her theory. What if 001 took the minds and bodies of its victims, but not their souls? Through performing some kind of arcane blood ritual, she hoped to at least rescue and keep the soul of Ari, even if her mind and body were lost. You open the next attachment. It seemed that Agata's ritual worked, but not in the way she hoped. The twisted soul of Ari, driven mad by SCP-001, had taken over the file. It begins corrupting the text of the SCP-001 file into crazy ranting about how futile it is to fight. It then cuts to an even more frightening video feed. Dr. Igata, in her sleep, tossing and turning in a makeshift bed in the corner of her office. The camera approaches her, in first person, and lingers over her sleeping body. An oily skeletal hand reaches past the camera and runs its fingers through Dr. Igata's hair. It's that exact same hand you saw reaching out of that black puddle earlier.
What?
You must have seen Ari's lingering spirit. With a lump in your throat, you open the next attachment and watch the video. You see Dr. Igata, now truly broken. She'd been haunted by Ari's demonic spirit for a long time now, and it has clearly taken its toll. She is waving around a handgun while she speaks. She now believes there is only one way to escape, but not like this. She doesn't want the gun to draw attention to her body. She doesn't want to become part of that mass, even if she is dead. She opens a drawer on her desk she's recording at and places the gun inside. Dr. Igata then apologizes to her loved ones who are likely long since dead or assimilated, and turns off the recording for the last time. In that moment, you realize there's a single drawer in the desk in front of you. When you reach forward and open it, you see the same handgun Dr. Igata was holding is laying inside. You pick it up and study it, weighing your options. Perhaps there truly is no other way out. Then you see an update on the file. One more attachment has been added while you were studying the gun.
Okay, first off, let me just say this. If you are in a predicament like that, right? Let's say for example, the zombie apocalypse, right? Because that's obviously what you're kind of going through right now, but it's not really a zombie apocalypse. It's a blob apocalypse. That's I don't know which one is worse, honestly, because that's I have to say that's worse because if you're seeing stuff like that to where it's not just a simple blob attack. This is like a tactical blob attack. There are if they're doing something like this to get you to come outside. It's like we're not attacking you only physically, but we're attacking you mentally and emotionally too. That is the worst way to attack someone. Like physically, yeah, I'm good. I can take it, no problem. But if you're gonna attack me mentally and emotionally, come on now. Sooner or later, you're gonna be one of those type of people that's gonna break. And you see that she had the gun. And I knew for a fact that you have a gun, you're in a room, you're trapped because there's multiple blocks around the building. Like there's literally no way out, and you can't even go outside morning and nighttime. You would think that okay, the sun gone down, it's nighttime. I can make my way to someplace far away from the blobs. But little do you remember, the whole city is pretty much done. How is it that not the whole city, the whole world is done? Over 6 billions of people, billions of people gone, turned into blobs. Literally combined bodies to become blobs. And not just a blob, a liquefying blob. That is no. See, seeing a zombie, okay. I mean, at first hand in real life, you'll say that's pretty terrifying. But if you're a zombie fan, you'd be like, "Oh, this is awesome." But the most terrifying thing you could probably see is a liquefied monster coming after you. Just seeing a person's body melting, liquefying like that. That I don't know. Like, let me know what y'all think. What do you think would be the scariest situation? The fact that you're locked in a room and you're trying to find a way out, which there is no way out. Once you're in the building till you die, basically. What can you do? You can't leave in the morning. You can't leave at night. It shows clear as day. You can't leave at night because you're going to turn into them anyway. So what can you do once you find a secure building and barricade yourself in a room? What can you do? I mean, you're going to run out of food soon. You're going to run out of things to drink soon. So either way, you're going to die. And you see that the only way to kill them or destroy them is to freeze them. But how long would that be until you run out? And remember, you can't go outside unless you have fully protected, gear that's protecting you. But still, how long you think you'll last if you're in that predicament? But like I said, that is not the way to go. There's always a plan B. You just haven't thought of it yet. That's all I'm saying.
You feel your heart pounding in your chest as you reach forward and open the attachment. The text has been changed entirely. The file on SCP-001 is now a poem, an ode to the sun, and to ultimate togetherness. Then a video file spontaneously opens itself on the screen. It's a video of you, shot from behind. You see those oily skeletal hands reaching for you in the dark, just like they did with Dr. Igata. In that moment, you panic and fire the gun behind you, hoping to scare off the spirit. Instead, the sound of the gunshots attracts something far worse. The immense blob of screaming, melted flesh charges towards the office. You try to barricade the door, but it is not enough. The flesh seeps and bursts through and grabs you in its meaty tentacles. You scream and try to escape, but it won't save you. Nothing will save you. The flesh carries you upstairs, out through the empty halls, out into the cave. You can see the light in the distance as the blob ferries you towards it. you won't be alone for much longer. In fact, you won't be alone ever again. Now check out SCP-001, the Scarlet King, and SCP-001, which is the real 001, for more deep dives into SCP-001 mysteries and lore.
That was great. I love videos like that. I'm telling you, when it comes to like videos or shows that resemble something like that, like zombies in a related way, I love it. Oh man. But let me ask you though, what can you do if you was in that predicament? And that's the thing too, that the spirit, and that's the thing, it's like zombies. If you shoot your gun, it's gonna draw them. He shot his gun to scare the spirit away. It drew them towards him. And just like you said, no matter how much you barricade the door, they will not stop. Okay? Unless you're like somewhere high ground, then okay. But if you're like in a room, they're gonna break that door down. And then what? What can you do? This man had a gun. And a blob of pure horrific nature has broke his way and took you. It took you. And you know that old saying, right? I'm seeing the light, I'm walking towards the light. You know, that's the worst time to really have that going through your head, to where I see the lights, I'm going towards the light. Literally stay away from the light. But they got it to where it's like you won't be alone again, because there's nothing you can do. A nuke, that won't do dilly squat. If fire won't hurt them, if bullets won't hurt them, if they dropped a nuke, do you think that would have killed them? I'm not sure. But here's the question. Would you nuke the entire planet to destroy them? Would you do that? And make the world not only as it is, but worse. It basically it'll be like Fallout 4. Just like Fallout. It'll be a straight up atomic wasteland. So I don't know what to tell you folks, but let me know in the comments below, what do you think you would do in that predicament? Would you be the type to where I can figure this out, I can figure out a plan to where not only I can like kill these blobs, but that's the question. Here's the biggest question. Let's say you did try to deal with the blobs that was affected from the fucking sun. The sun itself is an SCP. And every blob you see is an SCP-001-A. Like basically those are the minions. And that is the boss. How in the heck can you deal with that? Now I can understand if it's a creature that's doing that. Yes, we can contain it and we can stop all of this from happening. But if SCP is literally a planet-sized monster that just affected the whole world in the blink of an eye, morning and night, what can you do? I say nothing. You can do nothing about that. So like I said, like back then when I looked at SCP, the prototype, it's a creature. Okay, we can contain this, no problem. Or the factory, sure, no problem. All we gotta do is probably just bury the whole factory, and boom, we're done. But no, this is something to where we cannot deal with this. We cannot handle this. And also, what was the other one? The Gate Guardian. That is something you can't contain either. It's over 1,000 feet tall. Okay? You can't get close to it. You will be incinerated. You will be evaporated. You will be vaporized. You will turn into molecules. Heck, even your molecules will disintegrate. So all I'm saying is, if it's something to where it's literally Godzilla-sized tall, literally a giant monster to where it's from a giant monster to a planet-sized monster, nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. That's literally the end of the world, okay? As we know it. Literally playing that song, it's the end of the world as we know it. Literally. Like, not even the final countdown. It's literally seconds. But anywho though, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? What would you do in a situation to where I can't fire my gun because it's going to draw sound? I can't go outside without wearing full clothes that doesn't expose my skin. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I can't shoot them. I can't burn them, but I can freeze them. But how long do you think it lasts before they turn back to normal? So let me know. What do you think you would do? Would you just go out like that and be done with it? Or would you, I don't know, go out guns blazing that if I'm going to die, at least I'm going to die fighting? And the fact that there's like 20 to 30 liquefied 001-A and they're holding on to you. Oh my God, can you imagine all those hands grabbing onto you and you can't break free? Nope. Nope. But anywho, hope y'all enjoyed this video of When Day Breaks. Stay tuned for more SCP-001 because obviously Scarlet King. There was another one. I don't know how many they are, like I said, but if I remember correctly, I counted last time about there was at least 4 or 5 more SCP-001. I don't know if SCP animation or orientation is going to make a whole brand new 001. I'm not sure, but I'll find out though. Time will go on for that one. So, as always, reactions, you know how to get my attention. If you're new, you want to stay tuned to more SCP, more reactions coming your way every day. Stab that button down below. I will continue to give you a show. Hope you have a good day. Hope you stay safe. And yes, you already know. Peace out, yo. Oh my God. Liquefied zombies. That can't get any more scary than that. Liquefied blobs. Liquefied blobs. Zombies. Yep. Terrifying on a whole new level.